What about this situation strikes you as ironic?
I mean, it's incredibly ironic that victims so often get accused of lying, and now it's become apparent that Bettina has been lying for decades about who she is and what her qualifications are.
Today I want to introduce you to a so-called sex offender to show you these stories are often much more complex than we assume. This is not a man with a history of sexually preying on children.
Grace, Nicholas Bester was charged with maintaining a sexual relationship with someone under the age of 17. But how would you describe what actually happened?
I was preyed upon and carefully selected because of my eating disorder and other vulnerabilities, and then groomed over a period of several months before being abused repeatedly for 6 months. That's how I would describe it.
But you think it was reasonable that you had to serve a prison term in that circumstance?
It was the law. It's the law, and the law is quite clear. You know, if you're having sex with a woman and she is 17 years old today, and it's 1 minute to midnight, and she's 18 tomorrow, then tonight it's illegal, and 1 minute past midnight when she's 18, it's legal.
They found some images of children on your computer. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, I can. What happened was I downloaded a font. It was actually a copyright font, so the download was illegal, and it came down in a zip file. And I opened the zip file, and all of these images suddenly splayed themselves all over my desktop.
And then you did something else pretty stupid. I can imagine how easily this happens.
It was late one night. I'd had a skin full of wine, and I was on Facebook, and somebody trolled me. I got into an argument about Gillian Triggs, God curse her.
Of all people. That's the ironic touch in this whole horrible story.
I was trolled. Of course, immediately they discovered who I was, and they trolled me, and I said something which was, illegal. Again, I didn't realize at the time it was illegal, but anyway.
We must have laws preventing children and young people from sexual exploitation by people in positions of authority. The question that remains for me is whether there's any room in this conversation for talking to young people, particularly young girls, about behaving sensibly and not exploiting their seductive power to ruin the lives of men.
So Bettina never contacted you, never spoke to you, never heard your side of the story before she made that video?
No, I've never heard anything from Bettina. I would have more respect for her if she had have reached out to me, if she wants to do a balanced, piece to interview Besta and to interview me, that would have been a different story, I think. I mean, it would have been a very different story. So I would have been able to correct a lot of errors that were made.
So as you know, the video got pulled down. Can you explain why it was legally pulled down?
Because it broke the law. It was in breach of section 194K. It identified me without my consent. It had a picture of my face in it.
And where did that picture come from?
Facebook.
At the time that that video was released, Bettina Arndt was publicly understood to be a clinical psychologist. Now, she's not a psychologist. She's never been registered as a psychologist. So how do you respond to that?
It's a pretty big concern because people put a lot of stock in the opinions and advice of people who are supposedly experts. If she's going around purporting these things and then calling herself a professional registered psychologist, to sort of bolster her influence, people will take the words of people like that kind of as gospel, and don't think to question it, because I don't think they have to. He's an expert, an academic, a scholar in a relevant field, and what they say must be true. So it's very dangerous. It's highly dangerous. I mean, it's incredibly ironic that victims so often get accused of lying, and now it's become apparent that Bettina has been lying for decades about who she is and what her qualifications are. I just want to say genuinely though, I don't know Bettina Arndt. I've never met her. The opinions that I have of her work are based on what she's said and done, but I don't like to pass judgment on people without having known them. So I find it disappointing that she has been so confident in casting absolute judgments of me and of other sexual assault survivors. But I genuinely would be happy to sit down and talk to her. I have no interest in name calling, in spitting sort of venom, vitriol. I have no interest in that. I would be more than happy to have a conversation, a constructive conversation in the interest of education and information about these crimes.